Hello and welcome in. As I sort of hinted at the end of my last video, I mentioned that I would probably do a non-hip hop video. So if you're looking for hip hop, I recommend you watch something else because today I'm going to discuss the entire discography of the band Clutch. Yeah, I have a lot of their stuff. I don't have absolutely everything, but I have a lot of their stuff. I have most of it. Yeah, I'm gonna go through their discography and yeah, just talk about each album, what I think of it, and yeah, they're my favorite band, so it only makes sense for me to do this video. And yeah, not a lot to say as far as like their history and stuff like that goes. They were just a rock band that started up, when they were in school together. Pretty typical stuff. And yeah, there were a couple of like pre-clutch bands, like I think Glut Trip was one of them, and like NSA was one of them, and stuff like that. But the actual band Clutch got its start in 1991, and the main members are Dan Mains on bass, John Paul Gaster on drums, Tim Salton guitar, and Neil Fallon, who is the vocalist, and he plays guitar too. He didn't in the beginning, but he would play guitar later on. Yeah, and like harmonica and stuff like that. But yeah, so we're going to get stuck in. The first thing that they put out was an EP called Pitchfork that came out in '91. But I actually don't have that, and that's actually one of the rarest things in the discography. The original Pitchfork release, I believe it was only on vinyl, and it might have been on cassette as well, but it didn't come out on CD. A CD version came out of it later in 1999, I believe, on River Road Records, which was like Clutch's label, but like it was really sort of underground. Like it was just basically a name that they threw on their stuff, that was exclusive to like their merch table and things like that at the time. They might have sold that stuff online as well, but yeah, the River Road stuff never appeared in shops or anything, so that's pretty rare too, the CD version. So I don't have that, but I'll talk about. Well, I'll just talk about Pitchfork really briefly now, but I do have Pitchfork in another form that I'll show later. Short EP, 4 tracks. The tracks are Wicker, Arcadia, Juggernaut, and Far Country. My favorite song in that EP is probably Arcadia, but Juggernaut's pretty good too. The entire EP is pretty good. It's not like amazing, you know what I mean? They would get a lot better later on. Early Clutch doesn't sound like anything like the way they would later on. The first couple of Clutch releases, they don't really sound like Clutch, if you know what I mean. Lyrically more emotionally charged, more angry, stuff like that. Not really the sort of humorous, sort of surreal sort of lyrics that Neil Fallon would sort of do later on. And the actual music itself has more in common with like bands like Helmet or something. You know what I mean? It's not really that kind of groovier, funkier kind of sound that they would do later. So yeah, pretty different sounding, but I do like the early Clutch stuff as well. Some people can't really get into it, and I understand that. But yeah, I like the early stuff, and I think Pitchfork is a pretty good EP, and that came out in '91. The next thing that they would put out is Passive Restraints, which I also don't have, but that actually did come out in CD. I should say Pitchfork came out on Inner Journey Records, some really small label. So yeah, Passive Restraints, however, came out in '92, and that was put out by Earache, who are pretty well known label. They mostly specialize in like extreme metal and stuff like that. More sort of out there, genres of metal. I think they put out like Anal Cunt and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, Clutch doesn't really fit into that, but yeah, Passive Restraints, really good EP. I hope to get the CD version of that someday. It's quite rare, but not like I might get it someday. It's one of those ones. It's not quite as rare as some of the other things in their discography, but yeah. Um, that has 3 tracks: Passive Restraints, Impetus, and High Caliber Consecrator. I really like all 3 songs. I think all those 3 songs are way better than the ones on the Pitchfork EP, and they were more varied too. I think the songs in the Pitchfork EP were a bit they were kind of similar, in terms of like tempo and stuff like that. But the songs on the Passive Restraints EP were a bit more unique. So yeah, hope to get a physical version of that someday. But just like the Pitchfork EP, I do have that in another form, which I'll get to later. Now, on to the first actual album. We've got Transnational Speedway League, which came out in 1993. The full title is Transnational Speedway League Anthems, Anecdotes, and Undeniable Truths. Yeah, really long ass title. Yep, this came out on East West Records. They also put out bands like Pantera. And yeah, their first album again. Um, I remember hearing that they kind of regretted that they did this album in a way, because this is their last album if it doesn't really sound like them. The next album, which is the self-titled album, is where they kind of found their sound, and I think it's they sort of don't really they wish that this was like another EP or something like that, you know. But I remember hearing that before. But nevertheless, I do think this is a very good album. I believe there were two main recording sessions for this album. I believe the first recording session was kind of where they did this slower, kind of more sludgy kind of songs. Songs like Earthworm and Erlen 13 and Binge and Purge. But the second, like the sort of the main like second recording sessions were like when they did the faster songs like a Shogun the Marcus and Rats and 12-ounce Epilogue, and those songs are more um, not only are they faster, but they have more of the sort of zany lyrics that Clutch are known for. The slower songs are more kind of emotionally charged and stuff like that, especially the song Binge and Purge, which again, this album, Clutch's only parental advisory. It's very hard to say, it's that little blue thing there. But yeah, that's the only, they have a little bit of swearing in some of their other songs, but nothing too much. That song has quite a lot. So yeah, A Shogun Named Marcus has a music video, and that got some play for them back in the day. Their most notable showing of that music video was on the Beavis and Butthead show. So yeah, I like this album quite a bit. It's not as good as their later albums. Again, I like it doesn't really sound like them, but still a very good album, and you can certainly hear elements of their later stuff. Especially in the lyrics, but. Yeah, I really like this album. Some of my favorite songs on this one would be Shogun the Americas, El Jefe Speaks, Walking in the Great Shining Path, and Monster Trucks. Yeah, generally all very good. The only song on here that I think is a bit of a clunker is the last song, Effigy. There was another song that they put out, well, that they recorded around this time called Molt, Molt, and yeah, that is not on this album, but they recorded it and it was released as like a bonus song on one of the promo singles for, I believe, A Shogun named Marcus. It was kind of like a just an outtake thrown under there. So that was never officially released, unfortunately. So yeah, you can get it online though. So yeah, I think that song should have been on here instead of Effigy. I think that would be a better way to close out the album. So yep, that's the first album, Transnational Speedway League, that came out in 1993. Next album we have is the self-titled album. As I mentioned earlier, this is where they got their sound. This is a fantastic album. Nothing bad to say about this album. Definitely one of their best. Yeah, they definitely went more for that groovier kind of psychedelic sound on this album. And yeah, fantastic all the way through. Everything from Big News 1, Big News 2, Texan Book of the Dead, Escape from the Prison Planet, Space Grass. It's all fantastic. It's one of those albums that plays like a good set. Still, all the songs are fantastic. And yeah, one of their best albums. This is the second album that they would put out in East West, and it's also their last album that they would put out in East West. And yeah, just a fantastic album. I really recommend this one. I've got a big crack on the case there, but yeah, I had this for a while. So yeah, fantastic album. Not much to say. Self-titled, 1995, generally considered one of their best albums, and I definitely agree. And yeah, they did not put a step wrong with this one. Really good stuff. For the self-titled album, there was a song called Apache that was recorded for those sessions that appeared on the Japanese version as a bonus track, but that's just an instrumental. I'm not too bothered about not having that one. So I think that was it. Yeah, there weren't any other songs recorded for that album, as far as I know. So here's the Impetus EP, which came out in '97. This is how I have passive restraints because all three songs from that EP are on this. You also get two other songs added on. The Impetus demo, the demo version of that song, and you also get the song Pile Driver in here, which was originally a part of an Earache compilation, which is a really good song. I like Pile Driver quite a lot. This was actually I heard about this recently. Neil said in an interview, but this was not an authorized release. Earache actually put this out without their permission, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, but they didn't at the time. It wasn't really worth going after them, suing them and all that. Kind of it's hard, like Earache or like an overseas company, and they weren't really swimming in money at the time or anything. So yeah, not for Clutch or ever a band that ever swam in money, but you know what I mean. Um, yeah, so not much to say with that one. Really good. It's like a compilation, really, rather than an actual proper EP, but very good. And next we have my favorite Clutch album of all time, The Elephant Riders. This came out in 1998. Um, Fantastic album all the way through it. I love every song on it. The Elephant Riders title track. The Soapmakers is my favorite Clutch song of all time. The Yeti, Wishbone, The Dragonfly. And an interesting thing about this album is that they actually have a hidden track at the end of the album. Not only that, but there are three different possible hidden tracks. I believe the version that I have is the song Ought 5, but you could also have the song Gifted and Talented or the song David Rose, and there's no way of telling what version or what like hidden track you're going to get without actually buying the album. Um, Apart from the Japanese version of this album has all three of the hidden tracks on it, which is pretty cool. Yeah, this was their only album on Columbia Records, and it would also be their only album on Columbia Records. Um, yeah, not much to say. I absolutely love this album. More Neil's vocals aren't as harsh as they were on the self-titled album, and I think this is probably their funkiest album. I think definitely their grooviest, with songs like Cracker Jack and Wishbone. Yeah, fantastic. Green Buckets, absolutely fantastic album. This is my favorite. Yeah, generally it's not a lot of people's favorite, but it is mine. So yeah, the Elephant Riders. That one came out in 1998. Um, the next album I have is Jam Room. Originally, that came out in 1999. It was like a like plain cover with like a plain disc, and it was released on River Road Records. And yeah, I don't have that version, but I have the 2000 Spitfire version, which I've heard only came out in Europe. I don't know if that's true, but yeah, so here it is. Here's the Spitfire version of Jam Room, which came out in 2000. Um, what does it say about this one? Weird album. It's not. It's not. Compared to their other albums, this is kind of weak. But I almost look at it as like an EP with like extra stuff on it, because there are like four or five like core songs in here, and then the rest of it's kind of like instrumentals and like there's a skit on here, which is really strange. So yeah, Who Wants to Rock is a great intro song. Big Fat Pig is a great song. Raised by Horses is great. Basket of Eggs is one of my favorite Clutch songs of all time. Release the Kraken is fantastic too. And then the rest of it, stuff like Going to Market's like a instrumental. Swamp Boot Upside Down is an instrumental. Gnome Enthusiast is one of the weirdest Clutch songs of all time. Like Neil sings in like a weird, like high pitched voice, very strange, and nothing like anything else they've done. And yeah, this is the 2000 version. The reason why I'm sort of spelling that out is because there's also another version of Jam Roof that came out later. Um, Here it is. It looks almost exactly the same, but this doesn't have a track listing for some reason. The original, well, the 2000 version does. Look, that has a track listing. This does not. But this actually has three extra songs that you don't get on the other one, on the original. So yeah, those three songs are The Drifter, I Send Pictures, and Sink 'Em Low, which would be a song that would appear on Pure Rock Fury, but the version that's on this is pretty different. It's okay. It's not as good as the actual one. Yeah, so this version came out on Megaforce Records in 2004, but I thought I'd show it now, considering I was already talking about jam rooms. So yeah, I suppose this is the version to get, which is cool. They actually own the rights to this album, so they'll probably reissue it again pretty soon under their own label, Weathermaker Music. So yeah, this version, the Spitfire version, that's out of print. That's actually quite rare. And the Elephant Riders is out of print as well, which is a real shame. Even though that got issued on vinyl this year, but I don't think it's authorized. I don't think it's fully legit. Let's say. Um, but yeah, on to the next thing. Next album, Pure Rock Fury, which came out in 2001. I love this album. Very underrated. You either kind of love this album or you think it's one of their worst or one of their weakest, whatever way you want to put it. Maybe I have a soft spot for it because it was the first Clutch album that I ever heard. And the first Clutch song I ever heard was the song Immortal. And I heard that through the video game Hitman Contracts. So there you go. And yeah, I really like this album. A lot of people give it crap because of the production. The mixing on this album is very kind of muddy and kind of dense, but I kind of grew to get used to it and appreciate it. And yeah, I really like it. I think it's a good album. Immortal is one of my all-time favorite songs, as is Red Horse Rainbow. I think that's fantastic. American Sleep is great. Great Outdoors. I think it's a really good album. I don't see what people have have against it really. A lot of people say that the song, let's say track 8, Frankenstein. A lot of people say that that's one of their worst songs. I think lyrically it is, but I don't think the song is that bad. I think the song's pretty good, but yeah, lyrically it's kind of not that great. I think this is probably lyrically probably one of the weakest Clutch albums. I'll give the critics that, but yeah, musically this is great. And I love the live version of Spacegrass that's put on at the end here. I think that's an incredible performance of that song. Uh, I prefer listening to that over the original. So yeah, this came out on Atlantic Records. This would mark the last time that they would put out something on a major label, because they tried it at this point. Um, you know, 4 times, with Transnational Speedway League, self-titled Elephant Riders, and now this album. And yeah, they never took off on a major label. And yeah, they would move on to work with an independent label. So yeah, no, yeah, that's all I've got to say about Pure Rock Fury. I really like it. Next thing I'm going to show off here is Clutch Live at the Googleplex. Now this is their first official live album. I believe this originally came out in 2002 on their River Roads records, but I don't know. In 2002, I want to say, but then Megaforce picked it up, kind of similar to how they picked up Jam Room, and they put this out in 2003. And yeah, I like the songs that they play on this. Save Destruction, which is noteworthy because that song hadn't really come out yet. Um, so that's on here, and you have songs like Pure Rock Fury, Immortal, El Jefe Speaks, 12 Ounce Epilogue, Rats, The Soapmakers. They play really good songs on this, but I don't know, the quality's not fantastic. It could have been better, but yeah, still pretty cool to have anyway. It's their first live album, so. Next thing that I'm going to show off is another compilation of sorts. It is Slow Hold of China, rare and unreleased, but this is actually the 2009 version, which is called Slow Hold of China, rare and re-released, because the original version's got like a brown cover, and this version they remastered it and they also put on 3 extra songs, um, which I'm not really a huge fan of. I would have, because the way they did it, they put the song King of Arizona at the start, they put on the song Hillbop Blues in the middle, and they put on Ship of Gold West Virginia at the end. I don't really like that. I would prefer if they put all those songs at the end and just let the original 12 songs play through normally. But that's just me. Yeah, this was put out. This version was put out on Weather Maker Music, which is like their own label with like proper distribution and all that. The original was on River Road Records. I would like to get the original, but it's pretty damn rare. And yeah, I really like Slow Old China. It's not technically an album because it's a compilation of like leftover songs, but I think these leftover songs are better than their future albums. You know, a lot of their future albums anyway. I think Slow Hold China is fantastic. Sea of Destruction is one of my all-time favorite songs, as is Rising Sun. Guild of Mute Assassins is fantastic. Willie Nelson, and yeah, uh, those other bonus songs like King of Arizona. That was originally a song recorded either during the From Beale Street to Oblivion sessions or shortly after. I believe it ended up appearing on like a Bam Margera Viva La Band's compilation or something like that. So that's where that was released originally. Heel Bop Blues, which the song was recorded for the Elephant Riders sessions. There's loads and loads and loads of songs recorded for Elephant Riders that have never been officially released. But that one did, Heel Bop Blues, so it appears on there. And track 15, Ship of Gold, West Virginia. That's like an alternate, like early version of Ship of Gold, and I believe yeah, that might have been like the original version of Ship of Gold, because I heard of it with the Elephant Riders. They recorded it, and for whatever reason, the record label got them to record it again, something like that. So yeah, so that's Slow to China. I really good. I highly recommend that. Um, what have we got next here? We've got their 2004 just fantastic album, Blast Tyrant. This is the 2011 reissue, the Weathermaker reissue. This originally came out in DRT Records. It would be the first album that they would put out on DRT Records, which was like an independent label, and they signed a free album deal with them. So, yep, this is the first one that they put out. Uh, as I mentioned, this is the 2011 version. It's got like a slip cover, and that you've got like the actual album cover there. The original is more pink, like that is all pink on the original, but yeah, the artwork's pretty much the same, but just laid out slightly differently from what I remember. And there's a sticker in here that I've never used, so that's pretty cool. The 2011 version also has a second disc called Basket of Eggs, and it has a bunch of acoustic songs that they newly recorded. So they did like an acoustic version of The Regulator, they did an acoustic version of Basket of Eggs, they did an acoustic version of Tight Like That, and they did a song called Boxcar Shorty's Confession. It's like an old blues cover or something. I'm not a huge fan of those acoustic versions. Like they're kind of, I don't know, they're kind of meddling with something that I think is perfect. You know, they're kind of, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of those. But the stuff that's really good in the second disc are the demo versions, the early versions of the songs that are on Blast Tyrant, the actual album. So yeah, Cattle Car, which is an early version of Cypress Grove. They've got Walpole Man, which is an early version of Army of Bono. The Promoter, which is just an early version of the Promoter. Early version of Curandera, sorry, La Curandera from the album as well, and the song Steve Ducey, which is just like an unreleased song. Um, yeah, there was also Black Van that was recorded, which was an early version of Prophets of Doom, but that's not on the second disc for some reason. The actual album though, fantastic. My second favorite Clutch album, perfect. Nothing bad I can say about it. All amazing songs. Cypress Grove, fantastic. The Regulator, probably my favorite. Worm Drink, Swollen Goat, oh, fantastic. Really good album. And yeah, the 2011 version is kind of the one to get, but I do want to get the RT version someday just to be a completionist about it. But yeah, really good stuff. And yeah, Blast Tyrant is just a fantastic album. Excuse me. So next, I have their second album released on DRT, Robot Hive Exodus, and this is actually the DRT version. This is the only the DRT album that I have the original version of, and yeah, basically like a digipack kind of deal. Um, Robot Hive Exodus was came out in 2005. I don't know if I mentioned that Blast Tyrant came out in 2004. Hopefully I did. But this came out a year later because Blast Tyrant took a while to come out. Blast Tyrant, there's a 3 year gap between Pure Rock Fury and Blast Tyrant, and some of those songs that ended up in Blast Tyrant were written and performed live like years before Blast Tyrant came out. Some of those songs were performed as early as 2002. You know what I mean? That album took a while to come out. Probably a lot of that was probably them trying to get a new record deal and stuff like that. This album they kind of put out pretty quickly afterwards, a year later. Probably because they were probably working on this album even before Blast Time was fully done, if you know what I mean. And yeah, I don't think it's nearly as good as Blast Tyrant. A lot of people love this album. A lot of people think it's one of their best, but for me, it's just not. But I definitely think it's a great album, but I don't think it's one of their best. Yeah, really, really good. Still, like anyway, you know what I mean. Clutch very rarely do anything whack. The first 3 songs are really good. Comparable Mr. Flannery, Burning Beard, Gullah, and Mice and Gods. Something I wanted to mention about Blast Time real quick. The Mob Goes Wild had a music video. It was directed by Bam Margera, and yeah, pretty cool that they had another music video because that was their first like proper music video since the Shogun the Marcus, which came out in '93. So yeah, it took a while for them to get another video out. And the song "Burning Beard" from this album has a music video too. Another well-known song from this one is 100011100101. That was featured in the video game Prey. Yeah, if you remember that one. Yeah, I like this album quite a bit. I also do have the 2011 version, with the Weathermaker, reissue. But no, this came out in 2010. Sorry, this came out in 2010. This version, and the second disc for this one is actually a live DVD, and it's from the Sounds of the Underground. I think that's what it was called. Yeah, Sounds of the Underground. In 2005. Yeah, very cool. And yeah, the Burning Beard music video is on that DVD as well. Sorry. Yeah, just reading the back of it, the text is quite small. Let me just slide this out so I get a good look at what it looks like. See if it's similar to the original. Yeah, it's pretty similar. Not as cool though. I think the original is better, but that version's still pretty cool. And yeah, I like that when they reissue the DRT albums, they've always threw in like an extra disc full of bonus stuff. They encourage people to buy it twice. But I didn't have them at the time, the DRT versions. Like I said, I don't have the DRT version of Blast Tyrant. I didn't have the DRT version of From Beale Street to Oblivion either. Um, that's because when I was getting into Clutch, which would have been about 2007 or so, money was kind of tight, and like their albums were expensive back in the day. Blast Tyrant was 16 quid, and yeah, I did have a good bulk of their albums though, but I didn't have the DRT ones. Those ones were expensive, so yeah. Just on top of that, I'll quickly show this as well. I actually do own Robot Hive Exodus on vinyl. Yeah. Which is kind of nuts because it's not even one of my favorite albums, but yes, I do own it on vinyl. Yeah, for no particularly good reason because I don't have anything to play it on. But I did buy it with the intention of getting a vinyl player, but it just has not materialized. Yeah, so still pretty cool to have. And when you open it up here, get kind of like a comic book kind of thing. You get like pictures that represent each of the songs. Really cool. You don't get that in the original. So yeah, just thought I'd show that real quick. Later on, 2005, the Megaforce Records once again put out another compilation. This time they put out Pitchfork and Lost Needles. As the name implies, the Pitchfork EP from 1991 is on this in its entirety. You also get some demo versions of some of their old songs. You get a demo version of Passive Restraints from Passive Restraints, demo versions of Bacchanal and Milk of Human Kindness, which were on Transnational Speedway League. You also get a song called Nero's Fiddle, which they claim that it's an unreleased song. It is, but it's not at the same time. It's actually an early version of High Caliber Consecrator. Musically, it's different, but some of the lyrics are the same. So yeah, it's kind of like an early version of that song. Um, and also, the thing that I actually think really makes this worth getting are the two songs at the end. What Would a Wookie Do and Bottoms Up Socrates. Those are two songs that were recorded for Robot Hive Exodus but didn't make it, and they ended up on this. What Would a Wookie Do is fantastic. That should have been on Robot Hive. And I really like Bottoms Up Socrates as well. I think that's really good. So, yeah, that's well worth having too, if you don't have it. Next album, the last album that they put out on DRT, From Beale Street to Oblivion. This is the 2011 version. Disc 2 of this one has video. No, it's not video. I think it's audio. It's just audio of live sessions that they did at a BBC studio, and there's also some live audio from a concert in Australia. Yeah, nothing too amazing about that one. That's kind of probably the worst bonus disc out of the three that got reissued. And yeah, I remember seeing this originally, the DRT version. The DRT version comes in a really skinny digipack like that, and yeah, I don't have that. I want to get it someday. Um, yeah, really good album. This is like their bluesiest kind of album. Um, yeah, I really like this. That has probably their most famous song ever, which is Electric Worry. Um, Not only does it have a music video, but it's also been used in a lot of like ads and stuff like that. It was used in like a trailer for Left 4 Dead 2, and it's probably been used in other things as well. I think it was like the Vancouver Canucks like goal song for a while and stuff like that. So yeah, that song's kind of big. The rest of the album's really good. Um, I like Electric Worry, but I think the other songs are better. I really like Power Player, The Devil in Me, Child of the City, uh, Mr. Shiny, Cadillacness. Yeah, it's a very good album. Not one of my favorites, but I think it's a very good album. Kind of similar with Robot Hive Exodus. I kind of like this album about the same. So yeah, that's From Beale Street to Oblivion. The last album released on DRT, and that relationship kind of ended on a sour note as Clutch ended up suing DRT because they were failing to pay their royalties that they were owed, and as DRT are no longer in business, and at the time they couldn't afford to pay the money that they owed, so instead of getting that, they actually gave Clutch their masters, to the free DRT albums, and that's what allowed them to re-release them. So yeah, I think that's probably better in the long run. Having all those albums like they can press them up at any time and stuff like that. And yeah, I think that's better for them in the long run. Next album I'm going to show off. It's not a Clutch album per se, but it is relevant. The Birken Group, their self-titled album, which came out in 2007. This is their first album. The Birken Group kind of existed for a long time. They started off in the late 90s, I believe. And the Birken Group originally was basically Tim Salt, Dan Maid's, and John Paul Gaster, the sort of main instrumentalists of the group. You know, and for this album they had Mick Shire, who I should have mentioned earlier. He was the like keyboard slash organ player that they brought on for Robot Hive Exodus. He played on that album, and he also played From Beale Street to Oblivion, and he also played on this album. So yeah, the Birken Group's kind of like the instrumental side project of Clutch. But even though Neil Fallon wasn't in the group originally, he would join the group later on after this album. And yeah, this is rare as I'm really happy to have this. I got it recently for a good price, $6.99. And yeah, it's a bit dirty this this digipack, but I'm just happy to have it because this is rare as. On Amazon it goes like over £100, and there are none on Discogs. This is very rare. This came out on like what label is this? Like Ematic Records, yeah, something like that. Yeah, pretty short instrumental album, only like 35 minutes long, but I do enjoy it. It's pretty fun to listen to, especially if you're just like doing work or you're doing, doing chores or something like that. This is good to put on. Keyboards and Planets is my favorite song from this one, but I like the album overall. Instrumental albums aren't like my main like forte, you know what I mean? I don't have a lot of them, but the Bickering Group, I did enjoy that. The next thing that they would put out, they didn't put out an album in 2008, but they did put out um, their first ever live DVD. So, excuse me, uh, full Fathom 5 video field recording. So, yeah, instead of like a full concert, they show off like bits of let's see, 5 different concerts. Yeah. So yeah, this is their DVD, and it has songs like "The Dragonfly," "Child of the City," "The Soapmakers," "Burning Beard," "You Can't Stop Progress," "The Mob Goes Wild," "The Elephant Riders." Really, really good songs. Yeah. Let's see. No, not really else to say. Um, the performances aren't that like amazing. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way they record or something, but I don't know. It doesn't translate onto this DVD. I don't think. I haven't watched it in years, but yeah, pretty good. It was cool to have, but definitely not like amazing. I think it could have been better. Um, what else was I gonna say? Yes, this is their first release on Weathermaker. Yeah, this is their. I believe it's their. Yeah, I believe it's their first release ever on Weathermaker, or if it's not their very first, it's close to it. Weathermaker Music is their own label, and the difference between that and like River Road was like internet only and like the Birch Table. This, proper distribution. You can actually get this stuff, in shops and like on Amazon and things like that. So yeah, really, really cool that Weathermaker exists, and yeah, this is one of the first things they put out was this live DVD. They also put out Full Fathom 5, the CD version. This is just a CD, but it's not the exact same. Like all the songs you get in the DVD aren't on this, and there's actually, I believe, it might be just the one song, but I know Cypress Grove is on the CD. It's not on the DVD, so that's a bit weird. But this is okay. I don't think I even bought this. I think I got this for free because for a while there, I don't know if they still do this, but when you bought stuff from their merch website, they would put these in for free. Like they would just they were pretty much giving them away. So yeah. Next thing that they would put out is the Bacon Group El Rojo, the second Bacon Group album rather. This album, they didn't have Mick anymore on keyboards, but they got Per Wilberg from Opeth on to do keyboards for this album, and Neil Fallon's actually on this album too. He plays guitar. So, yeah, I like this album. It's longer than the other one, and it's more. It's probably better. It's probably better, but there's something about the first one that I kind of like more. I don't know. I'm strange. Um, Peruvian Airspace is my favorite song on this one. Very good, very very good. Yeah, not much to say. Instrumental album, not for everyone, but worth bringing up, you know what I mean? Because it is Clutch, it's just under a different name, and it's instrumental. So, their next album and their first studio album that they released under Weathermaker is this one, Clutch Strange Cousins from the West, which came out in 2009. Um, I think this is probably their weakest album, to be honest with you. I think it's probably their weakest. The packaging is fantastic though, absolutely fantastic. It opens up into like a big map, and uh, let's see if I can show it off here. The CD is held in by like a cork. I can't really show it off here, but let's see. Yeah, the CD is held in by a cork. Apparently, there are a lot of problems with people's corks popping off, which is a bit of a downer. And this packaging must have been really expensive. And yeah, unfortunately, yeah, it still smells kind of new. It still smells new, even though I've had this since 2009. What was I saying? Yeah, it must have really killed them because they never did packaging like this again, unfortunately. And even this is like embossed and everything. It's great. The actual album though isn't. Oh, it's pretty good. It's just not. It's just not as good as the other ones. Um, it doesn't have like a killer track on it, in my opinion. Like it has a lot of good songs, but it doesn't have anything like super fantastic. Even the most well-known song, 50,000 Unstoppable Watts, which has a music video, is good, but it's not like amazing. It's great live, I'll give them that. But yeah, songs down here like the Witch Doctor and the Amazing Kreskin, don't do a whole lot for me. Struck Down's pretty good. Abraham Lincoln's pretty good. I like Minotaur. Freakonomics is pretty good. Algo Ha Cambiado, which is a cover of Papo, the old 70s guitarist, I want to say. Yeah, my like classic rock noise is pretty poor. And yeah, Slee Stack Lightning, the last song, is like a reworking of the I Send Pictures song, which was on that Megaforce version of Jam Room that I showed you guys. Not their best. I think it's good, but nothing amazing. I don't know. It's missing something. This album. It's kind of dry. I don't know. It does bring back memories of 2009, but yeah, I don't know. It's not one of my favorites. The next thing they would put out is another like live thing. Well, this is interesting. So what I'm talking about is live. It's called Live at the 9:30. 9:30 Club in Maryland, I believe. Yeah, which is where they're from, by the way, in case you didn't know. Um, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so disc one is a concert. Um, the first four songs are songs from Strange Cousins from the West, which was the album that they were promoting at the time. This came out in 2010, by the way, if I didn't say it, sorry. And but the two songs at the end, the Regulator and Gravel Road. But in between both of those things, they play the entire self-titled album in its entirety, and it's a really good concert. Yeah, it's actually really good. It blows away the Full Fathom 5 one. Um, yeah. So yeah, I really like that. And the second disc is let's see. What way did they describe it? On the road with Clutch, ride along from city to city. It's basically like a documentary, but it's not like a documentary too much about the backstory of Clutch. There's a little bit, but it's like more just kind of like you get to see like fans and them meeting fans, and you get a little bit of concert footage in there. And this it actually has. I forgot if this had this, but the second disc has some bonus videos. Um, Free songs from Clutch's second show in 1991 and a song from Clutch's first US tour in 92. The songs from 91 that are on here are Driven, The Wheel, and Far Country. Of course, Driven and The Wheel were never recorded. They didn't, yeah, they never got recorded. And Far Country came out in Pitchfork, and the 92 song is Wicker, which came out in Pitchfork as well. And yeah, a lot of people that actually don't like that second disc. They think it's kind of eh. I think it's pretty cool, man. I don't know. I liked it, especially at the time. It's kind of it's novel because they don't really have they don't really have that many. There's nothing else like that. Put it that way. You know what I mean? For Clutch, they don't have anything else like that. So it's the closest thing you get to a Clutch documentary. So sorry, getting a bit bogged up with a cold as I'm doing this. Sorry. We're getting near the end. Next, we've got Earth Rocker, which came out in 2013. Their album that came out after Strange Cousin marks the longest gap in between albums. Nearly 4 years between this and Strange Cousins. Excuse me. Yeah. I enjoyed it. I think this is a really good album. They really stepped their game up, I think, on Earth Rocker, and it was the first album where they went into it trying to do something, if that makes sense. Before they kind of went into the studio and whatever came out. It's kind of approaching, or I mean, it was very organic. But this here, they kind of wanted to go, a little bit heavier again, a little bit more aggressive, and I think they look kind of the Blast Tyrant and sort of try to do something like that again. Songs like Mr. Freedom sounds like I could have just been on Blast Tyrant. It really does. Um, that's a really good song. No one talks about that song either, Mr. Freedom. Um, yeah, the title track's great. Crucial Velocity. DC Sounds Tight, Onto the Bridge. This is a really, really good album. I don't think there's anything bad on this album, actually. Yeah, they killed it on this album. It felt like a comeback record, even though Strange Cousins isn't that bad. But yeah, excuse me. Yeah, Earth Rocker, really, really good. Here's the deluxe version of Earth Rocker, which is better packaging. The original Earth Rocker, I'll show us off a bit better later with another album, but it's just basically like a sleeve, and like the disc can fall out of it really easy. I hate it. They really cheaped out on the packaging after Strange Cousins. They really did. This is pretty good though. It's like a digipack, but like the CDs are actually held in the place. You know what I mean, like that, instead of the disc popping out of the envelope. You know, I hate that. So yeah, you get this has quite a lot of bonuses on it. You get the album. You also get two extra songs on the album if it weren't on the original. You get Night Hag and Scavengers. Both pretty good songs. Nothing that amazing. I can see where they left them off, but both they're pretty good. And then on disc two, you get a live CD, and then on disc three you get a live DVD with some additional videos. The additional videos aren't that good, but yeah, the live DVD is very good though, and the getting the two extra songs, yeah, they got me to buy this again. Yeah, they did, but worth it though. Definitely the best version of Earth Rocker to get. And then their latest album to date, Psychic Warfare, came out in 2015. Sorry, and yeah, I like this album. I don't think it's as good as Earth Rocker. This has the same sort of packaging, like the disc is just kind of held in here, and you have to sort of stretch in and get the disc out, and the disc might fall out, and it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Yeah, it's not. It's like a vinyl record, but it's oh no, I don't like it. I like if you're gonna do a digipack, at least have something that the disc holds into. That's my opinion anyway. And this is so easily squashed as well. Like this, I don't like it. Like this is easily like squashed, and the hinge is easily damaged and all that. I don't like it. But the album, pretty good. I don't think it's as good as Earth Rocker. I think in like the overall like ranking of their albums, I like all of their albums, but I think this is one of their weakest ones as well, to be honest. This album's really short. It's like 37 minutes long, and it just goes way like really quickly. And yeah, one thing I will say, the song at the end, "Son of Virginia," is excellent. That's one of the best songs they've done in like 10 years. That's a really good song. But yeah, I do like the album. It's just not. I don't know. It's not knocking my wig off, you know. Um, some of the songs on here I think are just okay. Like "Decapitation Blues," that's just okay. "Behold the Colossus," yeah, it's alright, you know. I like some of the songs in here. Like "X-Ray Visions" is cool. That has a music video. "Firebirds," "A Quick Death in Texas," "Your Love Is Incarceration." Yeah, there's good stuff on here. It's just not. I don't know. It's not their best. I like that they got Dan Winters to do the photography for them again. He did like the photography and artwork for like Transnational Speedway League and the self-titled album. So it's cool to have him back. It kind of looks. That's why it kind of has that like kind of old clutch kind of look to it. But yeah, it's kind of I don't know. It's too similar to Earth Rocker, but at the same time, it's like Earth Rocker, but not as good. And I think they're Clutch these days. I think they're a bit too straightforward musically. I kind of miss when they were a bit sorry, not miss. I miss when they were a bit funkier and more psychedelic and just kind of I don't know. It's just more interesting to me rather than their songs are really straight ahead and like really I don't know straightforward. Straightforward rock and roll songs. But there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know.
I hope they kind of mix it up again soon, do something a bit different. This is very similar to Earth Rocker, I think. Earth Rocker did really well for them, so I get why they tried to sort of recreate that album's success, but I don't know. And that's everything. I've talked myself out. I've been talking for now 50 minutes, and I don't know if you can tell, but I am getting like, I don't know, not tired it out. You know what I mean? I do podcasts and stuff like that, but at least with a podcast, you're talking with someone else, and you're taking like breaks and stuff like that, and thinking about things. Here, I've just been rambling on forever and ever and ever. So, yeah, if anyone actually watched this, fair play to you. Um, yeah, and yeah, I'll see you guys whenever. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Clutch are my favorite band of all time. Yeah, Elephant Rider is my favorite album, followed by Blast Tyrant, and then probably a self-titled album. Then probably Pure Rock Fury. Yeah, probably Pure Rock Fury. So yeah, that's probably like my order. And then I don't know about the other ones. The other ones are kind of a bit more interchangeable. But yeah, so that's that. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And yeah, see you guys next time.